this is not necessarily based on last night's game, but when you guys made the move to go get Carson, that wasn't just a 1 year thing. That was probably going to be a couple years thing. And I know we're 9 games in, but has everything you've seen emboldened your move to go get him? And do you feel like moving forward, you feel even more confident that he's the guy moving forward at that position?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I think we're making good progress. I think he's making great progress. I think he's played a lot of good football. We still got to get better, all of us. I think if before the year started, if we took a poll around, NFL media and experts and said 9 games into it, Carson's going to have 17 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, would you take that? And would that be a good step in the right direction? Would that? And I think we would all say yes. But I think more importantly, how he's done it. I think there's been a lot of good things, but can't take anything for granted, right? I mean, we've left ourselves no margin of error, and he's got to continue to get better.
Mike Chappell.
Frank, how you doing? How rare is it as a play caller when you come out of a game, and you guys always talk balance and whatever, but I mean, last night was crazy balance, 30-30 and the but how rare is that? And can you remember a time when you've really had that ideal balance?
Yeah, not off the top of my head. I mean, the balance is, as we all probably know and appreciate, there's a sliding scale to me of what that balance means. I think these days, balance in the NFL as far as run pass is not necessarily 50-50. I think in the old days, I think it was 50-50. I think in this brand of football, I think it's probably more like 55-45, 60-40. I think that's more what balance is. I think 50-50 I think 50-50 is run heavy. And I love that. I love games that we can do that. I hope we have a lot of games that we can do that. That'd be great.
Quick follow-up. Is there an update on Braden?
No. Yeah, no update. I haven't talked with anybody yet this morning.
Thank you.
Joel Erickson.
Frank, with Carson, kind of piggybacking off of what you said last night, but just how's he doing in terms of continuing to understand the offense and know all that stuff and be able to make those checks and everything?
Really well. Is one of the things that I said to Chris in the off season. What's one of the things that's unique about Carson? He's got this size, strength, arm talent, this physicality with the way he plays, but yet he really has elite intelligence. He has elite intelligence. So what we're always working towards, right? Intelligence is one thing, but then being a good decision maker is another thing. And I think he's grading out very high as a decision maker this year, and throughout much of his career, he grades out very high as a decision maker. That's why we went after him, because I think he's a good decision maker. But there's always going to be bumps along the road. We're always going to play. It's a hard position to play, but he's very smart and handling the offense extremely well. Really trust him with a lot of it, trust him and really want to empower him. And but it's always a fine line there. We talk about a healthy tension, and I do understand, like even with a guy like Carson, because he is so aggressive and bold, that part of my job and Marcus's job is to quote unquote, yeah, okay, we want to give him the keys, but there's still boundaries, and we still got to set boundaries. And that's the healthy tension we're always looking for, but he's doing a great job.
JJ.
Hey, Frank, having coached wide receivers in the past, what makes a good run block for a wide receiver?
Being aggressive, getting the right leverage, JJ. I mean, really, it's all about leverage and physicality. So understanding the angle that the runner's coming. Do I need to be on the tight, like Coach Groh will talk about, hey, we want to be tight inside number, tight outside number, head up. if you're going to lose the guy, lose him to your outside, lose him to your inside. So those are all the little nuances that sometimes a good block is, hey, that safety's coming down hard, and you're not going to be able to get in front of him on his front number. But if he feels your presence, you can still influence him. So sometimes a receiver is just influencing a defensive back. And as you guys know, our receivers take a lot of pride in that. And I mean, we have to be one of the best wide receiving blocking units in the NFL. I really believe that.
And where does Michael Pittman come with that? And kind of on top of that, what does it set a tone for the entire team that your leading wide receiver has that mentality?
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's not just in the past couple of years, it's all been Zach Pascal. It's all been Zach. But now all of a sudden, when your number one receiver is like, oh, no, wait a second, I'm just as physical. I think Coach Groh, you'll have to ask him sometime. He gives out an award each week. I think he calls it the sombrero, the big sombrero award or something like that. And I think it has to do with their blocking ability. And they all want to get that award every week. They work hard at it.
George Bremer.
Shifting back to Carson for a second. When he came in, you guys said you don't want to make him Superman. Don't make him do too much. You let him play within the offense. Was last night in some ways kind of a perfect picture of how you want that to look?
Yeah, pretty close. I mean, he really played, like I said last night. I mean, it was pretty near flawless performance by, a really good outing by the offense in general. Kind of like the week before, how I said the defense had their best outing of, what I thought was their best outing of the year against the Titans, or a really stellar outing versus the Titans. It felt like, this was one of those outings for the offense this week, and by a lot of guys, but Carson certainly was at the top of that list.
Chap.
Frank, if you look at the progression of the offensive line, I mean, I'm sure it struggled early for a lot of reasons, injuries and Fisher getting back. How would you kind of gauge the progress and where it's at right now? It looks like it's making life a little bit easier for Jonathan Taylor and even Wentz.
I mean, last night, we gave up the one sack, and it was in the very late in the game, and it was a 0-yard sack where Carson stepped up to run it. The week before, we threw 51 times, gave up one sack, and then the run blocking. So I really think we're getting close to hitting on this all cylinders, so to speak. And it's really a credit to the offensive line and Strauss and Kevin Mawai and those guys, because I think what it is, Chap, is like we've really worked hard in practice. Now, this last week was a walkthrough, but like we really work hard in individual period, the offensive line. And I feel like we talk about that a lot, that as the season goes on, we don't want to lose the intensity of that individual period where we're working on those combination blocks and the timing and all those things. And so they deserve a lot of credit, but I think we're heading in the right direction.